right, 10 minutes after the top of the hour.
So the Department of Homeland Security has until 6 p.m. Eastern Time to submit evidence that support Mahmoud Khalil's removal from the United States.
Todd Pyro joins us now with more. Hey, Todd.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Khalil appearing before a judge in Louisiana yesterday for an immigration proceeding where he denied 8 allegations against him. He's accused of leading activities aligned with Hamas and lying on his visa application. Khalil's attorneys say they have not received a single document from the government after they requested evidence in the case. The legal permanent resident and Columbia University graduate accused of leading some violent anti-Israel protests on the university's campus last year. Khalil was arrested by ICE in March and detained in New Jersey for a day before being flown to a detention facility in Louisiana, where he is currently being held. In a recent op-ed, Khalil claimed that Columbia laid the groundwork for his, quote, abduction, and says students must continue to resist what he describes as repression. He wrote in part, quote, "The student movement will continue to carry the mantle of a free Palestine." The judge will make a decision on his removal following another hearing on Friday. Khalil's lawyers are also challenging the legality of his detention in a separate federal case in New Jersey. Back over to you.
This could be, if they're prepared, Todd, this could be a fountain of information and unveiling, because there's talk about direct links to organizations that go right back to Hamas. There's testimony that could be used from hostages that are now released. And then with him, you could ripple it right down through others at Columbia.
So there's a connection to Hamas, but he also lied on his form, on his visa application.
Absolutely.
So just on that alone, I think the administration is going to present that in court. The visa application is voided out because he lied, right, Todd?
Yes, but also I do want to follow up on Brian's point. While, Lawrence, you may be correct in terms of how this case could ultimately be adjudicated, you lie, you're out. To Brian's point, if we can utilize this case, sort of like, a detective ferrets out a lot of information to get other people involved in a situation. I don't want to use the word crime because we don't know exactly what is at play here. But they can get that information through a long, protracted process. May not be great, may not be what the people want to see, but if you can get that information, I think it'll help the country in general.
Well, because the judge has said that if there's not solid evidence, she's going to essentially terminate the case, and that's going to be it. However, if the government presents solid stuff, look for this to be the model that they use to boot other people out of the country.
Yep.
And of course, as we've said, expect this to always end up at the Supreme Court. All these things are going to end up at the Supreme Court, and that case will ultimately determine what can happen for other individuals besides Khalil going forward.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, Khalil has denied all the 8 allegations against him and the 2 charges of removal, but the judge, she said, let him see the evidence, let him argue his case, and then we'll come back to court on Friday, and I'll decide whether or not he can be removed from our country or if he's released into the United States.
This is going to have to go to the Supreme Court because I hope they understand what they're doing. If the lower courts now decide that this is the legal remedy, every time someone gets denied a visa application, they're going to be able to challenge it in court. So they're going to open the door for more legal challenges if this is the case. The executive has the authority to say, look, you're not approved, and that's under the State Department.
Yeah, right. Yep.
But his attorneys are arguing this is a First Amendment issue, and the reason he was targeted was because he was speaking his mind. Ultimately, this judge later today is going to figure out whether or not there's enough other evidence that outweighs those First Amendment concerns.
There are laws on the book. You can't lie. You can't. I mean, look at Hunter Biden.
And they're not even disputing that.
Try to get a gun. You can't lie when you're trying to get a visa. And if you're connected to a terrorist organization, if they can prove that he was, you can't be in our country.
That's right.
Right. And it's not just about Khalil and Cornell. It's not in Columbia. It's Cornell, too. Donald Trump's administration has frozen, through the Commerce Department, $1 billion in funding for Cornell, $790 million for Northwestern. For Brown, $510 million. Harvard, $9 billion. Pennsylvania, $175. Princeton got word of $4 million. And Johns Hopkins, $800 million. And in some of these cases, it's not just anti-Semitic. It's, hey, you're pushing forward on this climate change things over in Princeton. I don't want to fund that anymore. And that's what Howard Lutnick told the people over in New Jersey.
The White House says the money was frozen in connection with several ongoing, credible, and concerning Title VI investigations. Title VI, it prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin in programs and activities receiving federal financial assistance.
Right, exactly. It's after there were on these universities, and we knew that this was coming because the administration sent out notes to 60 different universities and said, look, we're very concerned about your reaction to the anti-Semitism, what you did, and also the discrimination with all the DEI stuff. What's interesting about this announcement with Northwestern is the fact that it is the first non-Ivy League school where they have frozen the money. And it's interesting, the House Education Committee chided Northwestern over the fact that they had set up legal clinics in the law schools that represented organizers of anti-Israeli protests. So it's like, okay, whose side exactly are you on? So the university is going to have to show that they are on the side of everybody.
It's going to be a massive examination of these foreign students.
It has to happen. We have been funding indoctrination camps all over the country at these universities to people to hate our country, to object to our country. Everything that we believe in, it's fine. If you want to go to another country and promote these ideas, but I don't like all these kids suddenly wearing keffiyehs all over America that don't even understand what they represent. How many campuses did I go to where the kids straight up denied October 7th happened? Yeah. They learned it from somewhere. The professors are out there creating barricades around the students.
So I want to see Democrats defend this. Go ahead. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Those are your people. That's your base. That's what you want to defend. Anti-Americanism in schools. You want to say it's okay from a kid from Algeria to get in from instead of a kid from Kansas? Go ahead. Go fight. Go ahead. Have that fight. This is one thing it's so impressive about this administration. It's going after the funding and making people accountable for who they're bringing into their schools. Yeah. And I mean, Harvard. When Harvard found out that they had their money denied, I don't know what happened. They have to take out a $750 million loan? Harvard, of all people?
They're selling some bonds.
Think about it, though, guys. These kids are on these college campuses. They weren't alive when 9/11 happened. They have no context of it. They're not teaching it in school like they used to. When I saw these kids marching down in Midtown Manhattan, Lower Manhattan, after what happened with the trade centers, and they're advocating talking points from the state sponsors of terror, we can't have that.
You don't have Al-Qaeda and ISIS. We wouldn't let it for Al-Qaeda and ISIS.
No way. No way.
When you think about it, though, October 7th was Israel's 9/11.
That's exactly right.
What they should do is Congress should call in Jewish students from these schools and say, okay, during the protests, we know you did not feel safe. Has your university done enough to make you feel safe so that you don't feel like you got to watch your back and you feel like the professor who is teaching you is not PO'd at you?
I just love what Donald Trump's doing, saying we're not taking American tax dollars from hardworking Americans to fund these schools that are promoting these policies that we disagree with.
Foreign students last. That's my new slogan. Foreign students last.
I agree with you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.